70 kids are still missing at Hillside Academy in Indarasha, Nyeri County. But what people are not being told were these all particular children died or perished in that particular fire incident, because when you compare the narrative in between the two sides telling much more of a story from this particular incident, it totally don't make sense at all. What is it that they are hiding from us? What is it that they don't want Kenyans to realize about this? Because you don't come out with this particular cheap narrative just telling Kenyans that, you know what, your kids could have later disappeared in the bushwoods. Who could know? You know, that is a cheap narrative, because there is only one place those particular kids could have gone right away, at the neighbor's side or at the gate side. And when you ask more about neighborhoods, no one could have seen those particular kids. 70 kids are not, for you to lose 70 kids in one place and no one is reporting a missing kid. Remember, they are not, they are not, because they are grade 8. How can you come out and tell me that a grade 8 kid is not being seen? Maybe she or he had disappeared. It is not totally making sense, but definitely we need to know the truth. We need the government just to say if these particular kids were burned to ground in that particular fire accident, it will definitely be okay. But hiding from parents and hiding from the media, it is not quite. It is quite disheartening to see this. But you know what? My good name is Anthony Jenga, and this is EF Media Kenya, the number one online TV. Remote like, subscribe, and share. Let us dive into this particular part of this narrative, because it doesn't make sense at all. So, the fire happened, the fire incident happened at that particular dormitory. This is the version of the story that we are being given. So, a kid was going to sleep and they were just using a bulb. So when for those particular guys who have attended a high school, a boarding school, you definitely know that there are some people who just sleep and there is a bulb on top of them, because they use those particular double deckers and triple deckers and so on and so on. So, for this particular sector, a kid just realized, the bulb is those particular, not the white bulbs, but those yellow bulbs. You see them? She just discovered that, the bulb is just making out some sparks of light, and those particular sparks of light just dropped into the mattress and fire started burning on top of a mattress. So what this particular kid did was going out, running out to find water and call the matron. When she was coming back from calling the matron, she could not believe the fire was too large. So what she did, she just called her 3 friends and they moved out. Does that particular story really make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. Because put yourself in that particular situation. When you definitely see sparks falling into your mattress, there is nothing like calling a matron that lands into her mind. No, we are not fools anymore. Don't start cooking story. What you definitely have to do, or what you definitely usually do in your kawaida life, is when you realize definitely there is a fire, it has fallen in your mattress if it is light, if it is correct, because some things may happen I don't want to guarantee you that they could not happen, but in actual sense, for it to happen like that, it is not giving. A story is so fake. So let us come to this. When you see fire immediately and you are a child, you will definitely scream. It will just come out naturally. And people will be just, because people are so curious, and you look at boys. I understand boys better. When a boy just sings something like that, he will be amazed, because out of curiosity he will scream and call other boys and tell them, oh, fire, fire, and he will definitely say, kuna moto. He will not think about the matron. No. So on that particular instant, he could have alerted all the people asleep, and they could have, walked out of the door if the door was opened. And if it was not opened, he could have pushed the window and screamed so that the watchman could have come to open the door before the fire ravages and continues. And also, there is this particular other thing. When you look at those particular instances, they are so minimal. Who could have locked the door from outside and make sure that when these particular kids will be screaming, there could not be nothing, to be feared, or, because I have seen a lot of occasions where dormitories are being closed from outside, and when fire happens, a lot of pupils, a lot of students tend to die aloud in those particular situations. But on this one, I don't understand clearly. I don't. Then, on that particular day, let me tell you, I definitely know how media works. I definitely know how Red Cross work. I definitely know how government institutions who are considered to take charge of any incidences or terrible losses, how they behave. They don't give you exact numbers. But on this particular day, after the fire had happened, 6:30 sharp, they had already the correct number, saying, 17 bodies have been discovered at that particular time, and other 14 were injured and more. It was not giving out. Then there is this particular boy who was giving his narrative, how he jumped out from the window, and the teacher made that particular kid not to return, to tell other people to come out, because fire, that particular story is not giving. Because as a teacher, you could have that human in yourself, and you could be the one who was opening the door and shouting at kids so that they can definitely come out. That particular story has not come. You cannot come out and give that particular kind of a story, because I went to a boarding school. So at one particular point, fire happened in that particular dormitory that I was in. I have seen it numerous times, almost 4 times, and you are coming out with that particular narrative. I definitely tell you, this is not giving, this is fake, because those fires happen during the night, and when they definitely happen, there are some of those particular few scenarios that you tend not to believe about this and this and this, but coming out, telling people, that particular fire maimed, killed these all people in a single particular day. I'll be just like, oh damn, I have never seen that before. I have never heard about that particular thing before. So how comes this is so special? It will be just triggering, and my mind, I will be like, there's something that they are hiding. But clearly you can already see that they want media to report that particular number, and when media want to clarify and put out the correct figures, the government is coming out intimidating them. I heard the president, when he directly heard that the correct number is going to be told out, he went out and gun-blazed at medias and started saying that medias are cooking their own numbers, media are telling the lies. Let me ask you, Mr. President, sir, for your whole time in office, I have never heard you say that media are telling the truth. But what we definitely know, it's the opposite. Media tells the truth, you, Mr. President, tells the lies. So it has come to our attention that you don't even understand who is telling the truth and who is lying. You always lie. We have definitely seen it a lot of times. I tend to think that people should go out on the streets and demonstrate hard for the figures, for the numbers of those particular kids who died in that particular fire accident to come out. Because as a parent, there's those particular moments that you are cool and you will be like, oh damn, that particular pain is unbearable. You know better, you see your kid have died rather than not seeing your kid at all. Let me take you into the also this particular kind of thing. The fire started at 11:30, that is PM, and the fire stopped was managed at 2:30 AM. So definitely tell me those are not long hours for kids to have disappeared. And in that particular area, neighbors are saying that for those particular kids who did not go or run away, they were in that particular compound, in fact. So tell me, what the hell was happening in that particular age? The dormitory used to hold allowed 153 students, according to what they are telling us. We don't even know if they are cooking figures. And we need to do a research and know who owns this particular school, because it's not a coincidence. The government is trying to protect their own. Someone is behind all these particular shenanigans. And the president is just silent about it, just defending criminals like that. And when we as the media people come out, ready to tell people the truth, they come out gun blazing and saying that, intimidating us directly and saying, we are going to close all those particular media stations because you are vulgar. You are talking a lot of things that are not totally making sense allowed at this particular, It is quite disheartening seeing parents going and through this a lot of pain, and the government is just silent about it. They are pretending not to know where those kids are. Because if the government, they are so serious about it, because after the incident, all forces in government arrived in that particular time. Not forgetting about the DCI, about the police, the GSU, the NYS, the Red Cross, all of those particular personnel arrived instantly at that particular place. So you cannot come out and just saying that it is like this, it is like it doesn't make sense. You need to do your further investigations better, or you are not ready to say that more than 100 kids perished in that particular fire, because you could be seen as the worst government ever. People will be chanting out your names of bad government out there. Something is not right. Something is not right, but no one is talking about it. But we will boldly say the truth. We will boldly tell Kenyans, you know what? There is no parent out there who could be staying in his house, in her house, staying with other people's kids and definitely is watching the news and seeing, these particular kids are being looked, they are being searched, someone is looking, the government is saying, if you have these particular kids, please come out with them, then they want to make this particular story die slowly. Now is the time that you definitely see a lot of dramas because they want to hide this particular scenario. It is definitely not one of the best scenarios. It is worst. Imagine losing more than 100 kids and the government just comes out and knows this has happened and don't want to tell Kenyans that, what, they are those particular kids, because they can kill this particular narrative like this. Media people definitely know it is 20. So when a parent finds his own kid, she just cries and goes away and and will be like that. So you will definitely not know how many parents have lost their kids, and that particular matter will just disappear like that. Definitely like that. Very simple. Nearly people, you are failing us. You need to come out in large number and demonstrate. We will definitely support you, because this is a lot of injustices to parents. And if you definitely have a kid that you feel it is not mine, it is not my kid, you will definitely come out, give out that particular kid to the authorities so that we can see the light of the day. Because we tend to think that there is a lot of businesses out there where they pretend to be selling, they tend to be selling organs, bodies of human beings. So sorry to say that, are we experiencing the same scenario in that particular thing, or it is just it is just fair not to talk about it at all? Because maybe it could be, it is a possibility, it is definitely a possibility. Maybe someone could have taken those particular kids, sold them, used them badly, and as a way of escaping all this particular tragedy, sets on fire a dormitory. It could be another part of the story, and kids. It is high time you don't allow your parents to suffer in silence. If you definitely know that you survived that particular tragedy and land away, you definitely have to come out and say what? It is like this way. Because they tend to say there are those particular parents who they came out at school and took away their children. They are saying something like that, but let me tell you, if they came out and took their children, how comes they didn't not call the office? How comes there are 70 parents who are saying they have not seen their kids, and other 21 parents who have came out and not been able to recognize if those are their dead kids or not? In total, there are 100 parents out there looking for their kids in this particular school. They are not finding their kid. Let me give you a scenario. A grade 8 student, a grade 8 pupil, a kid could have mastered their phone's number, their parents' phone number, and they will definitely be like, excuse me stranger, give me your phone, I call my parents and I assure them of this particular tragedy, this and this and this and this. But on this particular scenario, it's quite a sad one. It's quite disheartening that no one is talking about it. And when we try to talk about it, when we try to expose the truth about this particular scenario, the government just comes out to trailblazing at us, calling us cons, calling us criminals, saying that, you know what, the media should be disbanded. Let me give you a lesson, a short lesson, Mr. President. We don't fear you anymore. We are full of your lies. You keep on lying each and every particular time. We don't want this particular country to be of a dictator. This is not Russia. Imagine, this is not Uganda. You are not going to dictate us on what you want us to do and what you don't want us to do. We are not going to allow that, Mr. President. It is not going to happen in our country. Definitely, it will not going to happen. We are going to change our country for better, and we definitely know that. It will definitely work. Kenyans out there, let us join our hands and support those particular families who have lost their loved ones. It is not easy, but we need to come out in large numbers to condemn this particular scenario. It is not going to happen again. And if you want to keep silent, we'll keep getting all those particular news, and also to tell people and caution people out there, because there have been a lot of accidents nowadays. Make sure you are careful when you are on road. Don't allow it to happen. If you have that particular chance of stopping it, don't drink and drive. Don't be so stressed and drive. Don't enter a car that has excess number of passengers. Don't enter a filthy and old the car that you think that it is not vulnerable to be on the road. Keep watching, keep out, and take care. My good name is Anthony Jenga, and this is EV Media Kenya, the number one online TV. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Until the next one, guys, adios. Peace.